What is this? Jingle Fett? Koska Wreath? Boba Festive? Are we celebrating a very Bo-Katan Christmas? No, it's the holiday Mandalorian. That's right. To quote Taylor Swift, 'tis the dang season. Time to break out those decorations, dust off the old recipes, and adorn those tacky, ugly sweaters. And if you can't fit a sweater over your armor, then just paint one on. But be sure that you coordinate the rest of your armor and uniform to match so you can look like you're ready to either sip some hot blue milk cocoa by the fire or march into battle in, I don't know, the raid on the North Pole. I mean, yeah, the Mandalorian are a race of highly skilled warriors able to adapt to any environment, but dare we say this particular one took things a bit too seriously? You be the judge. Hey everyone, my name is Jonathan, aka JK of JK Collects, and I'll be posting a new video at least once a week, if not more. If that sounds of interest to you, please click that like button and subscribe so you don't miss any episodes. In this episode, we're taking a closer look at the Hasbro Black Series 6-inch scale Target exclusive Holiday Edition Mandalorian Warrior. Okay, and welcome back everyone, and here we have it, the Holiday Mandalorian. Or the Mandalorian Warrior, parentheses, Holiday Edition. But there it is. What a cool package. All right, so let's just whip it around and check out the back. Very seasonal, very holiday themed. I like it. You know, got a little bit of details about celebrating the season, specially designed for the Black Series. Like a little mailer or note card to and from kind of thing. I like the snowflakes that we have on here, right? If you notice, they are Mandalorian helmets at the end of each of them. They say no two snowflakes are alike, but it kind of looks like a bunch of these are. But you know what? That is a very cool little extra detail. I love stuff like that, right? Where somebody just takes that extra little bit and adds something to it. Okay, so very cool, different look on the back. Over here on the side, we've got that window with a little bit of a ribbon and a bow on that one. More of those snowflakes. On the side, not that typical artwork where you can see the figure or the character that we're dealing with, right? It's because it's that holiday edition. But I mean, hey, if you see that hanging on a shelf, there's no doubt what you're looking at. Obviously, it is a holiday Mandalorian, right? So there we go. All right, very simple. Same old bottom and top that we're kind of used to. Well, let's bust into this guy and see what we've got inside. What a really fun looking figure, I have to say, just even from the outside, and the stuff that comes with it, just fantastic. So let's bust in there. There's our Hasbro pamphlet, and look, it didn't come flying out this time. It seems like the times they are changing. And I got to point out the fact that this is the 2022 holiday season edition in plastic, right? So I guess this thing must have been designed or ready to go prior to shifting to plastic free. So a little surprised to see that one. We'll take this little cover off, and first things first, let's pop our little characters out. Thank you for not having those so heavily strapped in like some of the other ones that we have had to remove from the plastic together, right? I certainly appreciate that. It just popped right out. It was like a walk in the park. Okay, I'm gonna set him to the side briefly so we can take a look at the accessories that came with it. We'll put this over here because my focus always likes to give me a little bit of trick with these weapons. But there we go. There it is, right? So there's that rifle that we're used to, just with a very interesting color palette to it, right? So I am a fan of this. Of course, I can always mention, right, add a little bit of wash, something to bring out that little bit of detail. I know they wanted to go perhaps with that bright snow white or icy kind of look to it. But, you know, if you're going to go through all that to have such detail on a weapon, right? Let that detail shine through, right? Just add a little bit to it. But you know what? On that secondhand market, when you're dealing with it, if you get this custom figure yourself, hey, do a little dry brushing on there, right? Bring out some of that detail. Maybe a super light gray so it doesn't really fade the white too much. But anyway, I digress. Beautiful weapon. I love the colors, the white and the orange, and of course the brown stock right there. It looks great. Could always look a little bit more amazing, right? And let's get to this little guy, huh? How fun is that? Look at this. How holiday festive of the Star Wars line, huh? Look at that little guy. So cute. Right, I admit, I am guilty. I did not pre-research to figure out what the name of this little character is, and I'm hoping, and will definitely appreciate ahead of time, if anybody can tell me what the name of this little character is, because it is absolutely cute. And if everybody needs to know about it because it is fantastic. I mean, look at these little feet, the blue painted and the white coloring. Again, a lot of detail in there that's not really shining through. I don't know if you can see that. See, they've got like the fur up there that kind of forms a collar, almost like a bit of a mustache looking thing going on there. And then the arms and the fingers, I get like the very lightest of gray, like a dry brush on there would have really brought that out and helped make all those intricate details that they spent all that time sculpting pop. But you know, I get it. It's a repaint thing. They didn't want to put too much effort behind it. I'm sure this has already existed with another figure, but on the same argument, it is a repaint, so you might have had a little bit more time to add some more paint detail, right? You don't have to worry about creating a whole new sculpt, a whole new mold. You can invest that time and effort into mastering the paint on there. Okay, so speaking of that, let's check out the effort that we've got on here. Let's see what kind of rewards we've got with this holiday Mandalorian. Now, as I mentioned, right, if you can't fit a sweater over your armor, just paint one on, right? And I think they did a fantastic job. As far as ugly sweater themes go, I think they kind of nailed it. I appreciate that it still has that weave or almost like a cross-stitch look thing going there, right? To match that ugly sweater weave that you normally see. To me, that's just that little bit of extra detail yet again. But let's break him down. So from the top, we've got that standard helmet head. This one doesn't look like it has that fake plastic head in there, right? It's just one solid piece. Can you kind of see that? Yeah, it's a little difficult to see up in there, but there's not that fake plastic head. It's just attached to the neck, which the neck is fixed, attached to the torso. So it is one piece there, but it's good to see that the head, right, has that movement that I definitely look for, and I hope we all are probably looking for it. Otherwise, I'm wasting your time by highlighting it. But we've got good side to side and moving around, and guess what? It looks to me we've got full exorcist potential. Look at that. Oh, yes. We're going double 360 right there. Not too bad. I think somebody might call that a 720 if we want to really work in some math there. Okay, so great on that. One thing that really stands out here, right, there's not wear and tear on this. Like a typical Mandalorian, you do not often see their armor in perfect condition. But this one got ready for the holidays and must have just repainted it. Maybe they were at the same spot that Boba Fett was for the when he got his armor back in the Mandalorian, right? So they went to the same person and said, "Hey, paint my armor up for me, please. Use some of that green," right? Looking great, right? So let's move on. Let's talk about some of these joints here. So the shoulder, yeah, just a plain rotation in there. We don't really have any kind of butterfly joint or anything like that showing through, but it does move pretty well. And this shoulder pad doesn't seem to be doing any kind of hindrance. It works underneath, so it's not one of those rubbery detached ones that can rise up above. And what that kind of tells me is this seems like we might be working with a pretty old mold, right? Because not a lot of the more common modern things are showing, and I say that, but then I don't really see any pins right there, so that's not too shabby. We do have rotation right here at the lower bicep, lower tricep area. And we have these lines running here that can sometimes be a little bit tricky because we also have the forearm rotation. And if we rotate that too far, it can pull on those little, they are flexible, rubbery kind of plastic. But if we pull on them too hard, I don't want to test fate with it as I'm wiggling it back and forth, right? So elbow bends, but it does also pull on those lines, right? And even if you rotate this, it doesn't really offer a whole lot of relief. As you see, as you bend farther, it pulls even more. I'll be the one to stretch those things so maybe it doesn't happen to yours and cause any kind of problems or a pull. See how it's already kind of lightening the plastic right there? Yeah, that stretch that can happen when plastic gets pulled a little bit too much. Clearly, I got too excited and I've already messed it up. But good elbow bend, all right? I do appreciate the forearm and the bicep tricep rotation there. It's excellent. I just wish that, those lines were maybe a little bit longer so they had a little bit more slack, or maybe were made of something else. Wrist, we've got good rotation here, right? And we've got the ability to wiggle around. Always happy to see that, right? That good wrist flexibility. Excellent for posing, excellent for weapon holding, and just a lot of versatility there. Over on the other side, same thing, right? Same general idea, same lines, but they're not positioned together, but it does still have just an additional line on there, because the gauntlet is just designed a little bit differently, right? A little bit different capability. We got a little rocket here, and we've got something else going on there, right? And we got a line running to it, but same thing, right? So you got to be careful with these lines when we're rotating things because it's very quick to make it start pulling on it, and we don't want to test fate with something like that, right? It's already kind of flexible, but all that same capability, and the hand, the wrist definitely rotates and has that wiggle around capability. So happy to see that. Obviously, we don't really have any lower or lower chest or mid-torso rotation or flexibility there, but we do have right here at the waist. Yeah. Legs, they don't do the pull down. They also don't really have much room to go out. I mean, look at that, because we've got these pads here, the holsters blocking it, right? Nice to see these two holsters, but that does highlight something that's missing, right? So we have our holiday Mandalorian, comes with a rifle, comes with our little adorable little character. Neither of these things go in that holster, right? So they didn't really include anything to fit in the holsters that they left on the sculpt. So really big missed opportunity there. That honestly is kind of disappointing. I'm not gonna sugarcoat that one. If you're gonna give us a figure and you're gonna reproduce something, give us everything that should accompany it, right? Give us some holiday themed pistols. Hey, make some candy cane colored pistols to shove in there. Make some candy canes that just go in there. Have fun with it, but don't leave just open holsters like that. That's a disappointment on that one. I can forgive the lines, right, because they're old design, and you know, maybe they could have been longer, but that right there, I don't know. I can't really forgive that, especially when you've got it hindering the flexibility, right? You could have, maybe a different thigh could have been used, right, from the knee up. But hey, you know what? I'm not going to dwell on it any longer. We don't have much flexibility there. It looks like we've got a little bit of thigh. Yep, we've got some thigh rotation. So even more, we could have just replaced that section right there, because that rotates with this lower part of the thigh. I said I was going to leave it alone, but I had to bring on one more thing. And double knee, so pretty good once we get it moving. Yeah, it's got pretty good flexibility. Not too disappointed about that. Well, there's one of those knees that the way that it's made, it goes very straight across, right? A lot of them have improved and found ways to kind of mask that with the design of some of the armor. But you know what? Hey, I'm not mad. Good flexibility. Good flexibility on the foot, right? So we can go the ankle breaker and up and down, so pretty good. I like these little shin guards, right? They are festive for the holiday season. And I do like the little pose we got going on here. Kick it out. Show us those shoes. And speaking of shoes, was anybody else seeing Crocs? I mean, I didn't mean to put it out there, and I don't mean to put it into your head. Hopefully you can unsee it, but they do look like holiday Crocs. Maybe it's the green color. Maybe it's the way that they're done. Because, you know, theoretically it would have been like a boot or something. But yeah, it's there. It's in your head now. All right, well, enough about that. Let's talk about some of the paint, right? Okay, the jetpack. Nothing, right? It's just a piece of green plastic. Didn't even really try on that one. Okay, we'll say that's another mark of disappointment. I do appreciate the sweater paint apps. I do. I think it's really good, really well done. A little bit off center, and I don't know if it intentionally fades as it gets to the ends, but I don't know if you can see it. See up in the corners, it just fades a little bit. I don't know if that's intentional or not. It looks like it may not be. Because it almost looks like it's an overspray effect. See how it goes beyond the front armor plate and goes around? That does not look like it's an intentional design. It looks like it was developed larger than the breastplate and just in this straight across shape and printed on. That's all it is. Okay, you know what? I'm tearing this thing apart because I do have one more thing to discuss, right? So the red plastic, doesn't really match the red paint that we've got. So we've got red plastic here, red plastic on the helmet, right up next to it, red paint. You can definitely see it back here. You can see the difference. It almost looks like there isn't enough red paint to cover the brown plastic it's molded in. Do you see that? It has quite a red hue. And I mean, obviously right there, it looks like I found a little scuff in it. But yeah, so paint mismatch. All in all, it's neat. And I'm always a sucker for some very cool looking holiday stuff, you know, especially this time of year, whether it's Halloween or Christmas stuff, just because it's neat. And on that note, you know, just looking for some kind of neat holiday themed thing, this is good, right? Because you got a holiday Mandalorian, you know, it's fun. That Mandalorian look, it's timeless. It's fantastic. You throw a little bit of holiday color in there. obviously I'm going to buy it because I did. But what I will say, there were several points of disappointment on it, as I pointed them out. So I'm going to leave it up to you to decide how you think about it. But just for good measure, we're going to throw some 360 views in there. So one moment. All right, and here's our pal, the Holiday Mandalorian, yet again, right, with his little buddy. Still such a cute character. Almost makes the entire thing worth it. But ultimately, I'm going to leave it up to your judgment, right? All in all, not thrilled about this figure, right? So we got some paint app issues, right, between the red and the screen printing of the sweater. I do like the sweater theme, don't get me wrong. We've got holsters on the thighs with nothing to go in them, which is unfortunate. Even the rifle, I tried to attach it to the figure for the picture, but if you notice, as we rotate around here, look at the backpack, which has no paint apps, also didn't have anything for the peg on the rifle to stick into. So included an accessory that can't really be attached and not really the easiest to hold because we also have the lines on the elbows. Did not include the accessories that has a clear attach point and would be a lot easier for the character to hold without risking damaging those elbow lines yet again. So again, leaving it up to you. Personally, I'm going to score it pretty low. I can't honestly recommend it, like I said, unless you want something that's holiday themed or you just absolutely love Mandalorians. All right. Well, that about does it. Thank you for checking us out and for joining us on this collecting journey. And remember, look for a new video each week, if not more. Be sure to subscribe and click that like button. It would really help us out and it would mean a lot to me. And if you'd like to see some more videos, there are a couple of quick links on your screen right now for you to check out. But no matter what, thanks for taking the time. And remember, we are all in this world of collecting together. Let's look out for each other. Thanks.